If you want to love your hair, you must know these 6 crucial things before your next hair appointment. Now, as a professional hairstylist for over 30 years, I've learned that people that truly love their hair, they know these things. So I want to make sure that you know them too. Using industry terms. Now, this doesn't just mean industry cutting terms. This could mean a term that you learn that describes a specific haircut, right? And this is super popular when you're reading articles, or honestly, even when you watch my channel. And if I talk about new trends, I'm going to talk about them by the name that they were given in whatever article I read. So it might be Bixie, right? And you're saying, hey, I want a Bixie. But your stylist may not know what a Bixie is, and realistically may think that they know what it is, but have a completely different idea than what you have. So instead of using industry terms, explain what you like and what you don't like. For instance, I went to my most recent hairstylist, they cut my hair, and I think they maybe thinned it, I'm not sure, but I did not like the way that it did X, Y, and Z. It felt too thin at the ends. It felt like there was a lot of frizz in it. It felt totally different in this way than it did before I had them cut it. So don't use industry terms. Instead, be a little bit more broad-based and be more descriptive when it comes to what you want and what you don't want. Saying one of these 2 things, I trust you, do whatever you want, or do whatever's best. These are so dangerous, and let me explain why. First of all, it's amazing that you have trust in your stylist. But the problem here is you really don't mean do whatever you want. I mean, you shouldn't mean do whatever you want. Because what if you come into me and you've been watching enough of my videos that you trust me, and I think what's best is to take you from hair that is down to the middle of your back up to a mohawk shaved on the sides and crazy wild short. I would actually slap myself for doing that. But you're not going to care at the end of the day what I liked, or if I liked it at all, or if I thought it was great for you. The minute you leave the salon and somebody says, oh, you got your hair cut, you are going to hate what happened to you. So when you come into me as a client, the first thing I'm going to say if you say something like that is, hey, that's great. And then I'm going to riddle you with a bunch of questions because I need to understand what you like and what you don't like and what your concerns are and anything you've had in the past that maybe you liked or didn't like, what your comfort zone is, right? So that I can understand what I think is the best option for you. Now, the third mistake kind of piggybacks off that mistake, and that is the idea of telling a stylist what you need. See, what you have to do is tell them not just what you want or what you like or what you need, but also it's just as important, if not more important, I think, to tell them what you don't like, what you don't want, what frustrated you about the last cut or cuts you've had in the past. With all of that information, it makes it much easier for a stylist to understand what direction to head you in. I like bob shapes, but I don't like my hair to be too short. I like longer bobs. Okay, you just took a lot of bob lengths off of the table there, which really helps us to understand where those boundaries are. And then we can move from there and say, okay, well, he doesn't want it too short, nothing around the chin. Let's leave that bob a little bit longer. You don't end up with a bob shape that you like that lands at a length that you don't like. Hope that made sense. Oh, and also, if you're new to me, my name is Justin Hickox. I've been doing hair professionally since 1995. And sometimes on my channel, I teach you from my salon. And sometimes I like to take you out on adventures while I teach you about hair. And I'm usually just looking for a view that doesn't suck. So let's do that. Let's go and I'll teach you about hair while we look for a view that, well, doesn't suck. Showing up late. Okay, now I know that this is something that happens to all of us, right? And many times it's uncontrollable. And there is a little bit of a kind of, I guess, gauge to how late you can be. Okay, if you're 5-10 minutes late, probably not a big deal. But if you're 15-20 minutes late, and the stylist doesn't have the courage, that could be very problematic for you. See, some stylists are just people pleasers. You come in a little bit late, they don't want to turn you down. They want to make sure that you're taken care of. This means that they also don't want to be late to their next client. And so what could likely happen is they're going to start having to cut corners, pun not intended, somewhere in the process. That means that either your consultation is going to be cut short, your cutting process is going to be cut short. If you're getting a chemical service, that's going to be cut short. Some part of this overall process is going to lack the amount of effort necessary to do their best work. So I know that it seems like it's not a big deal, but it could mean the difference between a client really leaving the salon unhappy or you as a client leaving the salon very happy. I get it. It happens, but it does make a difference. And it usually makes a difference on the nicer stylists. Said it. Honestly, this view does not suck, so let's just stick around here for the next one. The infamous. I loved it last time, just trim it. Okay, that's great that you loved it, and I love that you loved it, but you have to recognize that that is a dangerous statement because many times, especially if you've got longer hair and you go longer in between cuts, the stylist might not remember exactly what they did. Maybe you guys modified some small little thing last time that made you really like that cut more than the previous cuts. But the stylist has a ton of stuff going on. They've got a ton of clients that day. And while they remember you and love you, they might not remember that one little nuance that shifted last time that is the reason that you loved it so much. And that's really what you're telling them you want without realizing that's what you're telling them you want. You want that thing that changed, but they don't remember that thing that changed. So they just trim it. Instead, if you've got a situation where you did love the change, or maybe if it wasn't even a change, but you just liked it last time, explain to the stylist what it was specifically that you liked about it. And even as important, again, tell them what you did not like as much about the previous cut before that. Hey, before it's always been like this. Last time it was more like this. This was a little bit different and I really liked it. That might look more like, hey, a few times ago, 4 or 5 times ago, it used to be like this. But then over the last few times you switched it and it seems more like this and I really, really like that. Can we continue doing that? Really small deal makes a huge impact. Again, that view doesn't suck. But I also feel like there's a cliff right up here and I always feel like, like there's gonna be a big cat behind me. So let's go this direction. All right, I definitely saved the biggest for the last. And that is bring pictures with you. Okay, now you've probably heard me say that a million times and there's more to it and that's what I want to explain here. 2 things. First of all, you might have a stylist and you might have brought them in photos and you might say they don't like it when I bring them in photos. Maybe they get irritated because you brought them in photos or they get frustrated or tell you, you can't have this, you can't have that. If I'm very honest with you, in my opinion, that is probably not the best fit of a stylist for you because in my opinion, again, any stylist worth their salt is gonna take those photos and use them for exactly what they are, which is inspiration and more importantly, explanation of what it is that you like. You've heard me say bring in photos before. And what you might do or have done in the past is brought in photos of stuff that you liked. And that's important. But here's where the key happens. This is the most important part. Don't only bring in photos of stuff that you like. Bring in photos of stuff that you don't like. Okay? I like this pixie style, but I think the bangs are too short on it. I like these bangs more, and I like maybe this length in the back more. I think the length back here is too short. Give them all of this information. You're not using photos to show a stylist exactly what you want. Put this on my head. You're using photos to explain to a stylist what you like and what you don't like in a way that words simply can't explain. Do that. I almost promise you, you will have such a better experience and the probability of you and the stylist being on the same page goes up 1,001,74%. Yes. Okay, I keep on looking behind me because I feel like there's somebody behind me. So I hope that helps, but I want to know, do you have any tips, anything that you've done in the past that absolutely changed the game with how you communicate with your stylist? If there is, comment below, let me know. Otherwise, if you liked this video, you're going to love this video. So head over there and I'll see you there. Photos, and what you're going to do, and what you might have done before, is brought in photos of stuff that you like. Well, it scared me. So I didn't know you were there. No worries, not at all.